Well, the horses are stepping onto the track for this evening's first race. Fillies and mares claiming handicap pace of 1 mile, a purse of $3,000. Win place show exacta trifecta first half of the early Dailey double. Drivers change on the 8 Dorth Dana. The driver is Dallas Miller. A field of 10. The 1 is FALCON'S FIDDLE, owned by Jason Barton of Lebanon, Ohio, trained and driven by Kayne Kauffman. Number 2 is Tight Eyes, owned by Jerome Grogan of Cincinnati, Ohio, trained by Calvin Wright with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 3 is APRILTIME Kim, owned by Hushang Momanpour of Lexington, Kentucky, trained by Lamar Moody with Jeff Ace NISONGER. Number 4 is Go By Air, owned by Calvin Lamb of Marion, Ohio, trained by Jim Pollock Jr. Jeff FOUT is up. The 5 is Mega Rose, owned by Bruce Roberts of Batavia, Ohio, and Cooley Smith of Omaha, Nebraska, trained by Larry Tench, Jack Dailey. Number 6 is Martinsville Girl, owned by Michael Ray West of Louisville, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer. Jason Brewer is up. The 7 is Graham's Cam, owned and trained by David Wornstaff of Ashley, Ohio, Bob Harper. The 8 is Dorth Dana, owned by Richard Elwood of Lancaster, Ohio, trained by Rick Hartzman with a driver's change to Dallas Miller. From the outside of the 9 is Shake Your Bonbon, owned by the Darby's Edge Stable. Morgan of Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Kyle Waiter is up. And scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Glowing Amber, owned by Mary and John Arrowood of Dayton, Ohio, trained by John Arrowood. Dan Noble is in her sulky. That's the field for the first field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the outside. There goes Shake Your Bonbon. Also from the outside, Dorth Dana's on the go as they drive into the first turn and over to the opening quarter. FALCON'S FIDDLE from the rail has come away in third. Got to the outside in fourth. That is Graham's Cam, who is driving on now. Along the inside, coming away in 5. That is APRILTIME Kim. 6th is Tight Eyes. 7th there from off the second tier. That is Glowing Amber. 8th is Mega Rose. 9th on the inside is Martinsville Girl as they race by the opening quarter mile mark of the race. The opening quarter in 27 3/5. They'll march on by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half, and Graham's Cam is rushing up to take the lead here. Shake Your Bonbon under a big hold is right back on the outside here to retake the lead. Along the inside, Dorth Dana's racing in third. Along the inside in a ground-saving journey in fourth, that is FALCON'S FIDDLE. First over on the outside in 5, that is APRILTIME Kim. Second over on the outside there in 6, that is Tight Eyes. Third over on the outside in 7th, that is Go By Air. Along the outside racing in 8th, that is Mega Rose. 9th along the inside is Glowing Amber in 10th and trailing the field, but a swing to the outside of Martinsville Girl. They were halfway home in 57 4/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and Shake Your Bonbon, the even money punter's choice, leads it here by a widening 2 lengths. Up on the outside, APRILTIME Kim is racing in second. Now swinging up on the outside, here comes Tight Eyes, and Tight Eyes is coming to the leader along with Go By Air, who's perfectly positioned here. Second over the outside in fourth as they roll by 3 quarters in 1:27 1/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and on top of the field, Shake Your Bonbon with the lead here. Tight Eyes is bearing down on the outside in 2, ready to swing 3 wide for the stretch drive. Here comes Go By Air. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come to the inside. Shake Your Bonbon with the lead. Middle of the track, Tight Eyes and Go By Air is charging hard along with Mega Rose as they come to the wire. Go By Air is getting up to win it. Finishing second of the mile was very close there. May have been the 5 Mega Rose over the 9 Shake Your Bonbon. The top of the mile, 1:57 3/5. Go By Air. Stepping trackside of the winner's circle to be greeted by Chrissy FOUT, as she'll do throughout the evening. Here's the 4 Go By Air, a 7-year-old bay mare by Nobleland Sam out of a Tupps flight. She by Falcon Elmhurst. Zoned by Calvin Lamb of Marion, Ohio, trained by Jim Pollock Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Jeff FOUT. Posting the 3rd win in 2003, home winner in 1:57 3. Number 4 Go By Air and driver Jeff FOUT. Fillies and mares, pace of 1 mile, a purse of $2,200. Number 1 is Falcone Return, owned by Inge Niemski of Sardinia, Ohio, trained by Lezik Niemski with Mark Witters up. Number 2 is Good Goin' Annie, owned by Roger Levitt of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, who also does the training. Jeff Ace NISONGER at the lines. Number 3 is Sam's Gracie D. Owned and trained by Thomas Blankenship of Asheville, Ohio, with Jeff Collins up. The 4 is Joe Ju Jan. Owned by John DeBoard of Dayton, Ohio. Trained by Tim Fisher with Jim Shelton. Number 5 is Plainfield, owned by Thomas Carroll of Coshocton, Ohio, trained by Mervyn Kenner with Eric Webb at the lines. Number 6 is Dominique D, owned by Sarah Jane Hatcher of Marysville, Ohio, trained by Larry Landon with Jason Brewer up. Number 7 is Ms. Oak, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio, with Dan Noble. Number 8 is Stand at the Top, owned by Donald Bowen Jr. of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, trained by Don Bowen Jr. with a K-man, Kayne Kauffman. And for the outside of the 9 is Southside Flash, owned by Herb Thompson and Vincent Moore of Groveport, Ohio, trained by Gilbert Travis. Jack Dailey is in her sulky. They're in the hands of the starter field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside just as planned. There goes the 2. Good going Annie alongside from the rail. Falcone return, looks to duck in, racing in 2. Along the inside, Sam's Gracie D has come away, racing in 3rd. 4th is Joe Ju Jan. Racing in 5 there, that is Plainfield. 6th on the inside is Dominique D. 7th is Stand at the Top as they race around the opening quarter. And on top of the field, Good Going Annie leads the way here and leads it by 3.5. An opening quarter in 27 seconds flat. And Good Going Annie is a stone runaway on the front end here, leading it by 8. Leading it here on top, Good Going Annie. Falcone return, carves out her own mile, racing in 2. Sam's Gracie D is unhurried in 3rd. First over on the outside in 4th is Joe Ju Jan. 5th is Plainfield, who's following that cover. 3rd over on the outside in 6th is Dominique D. At the rail, racing in 7th, that is Ms. Oak. A swing to the outside, racing in 8 is Southside Flash. And 9th and trailing the field is Stand at the Top as they raced by the half. They're halfway home in 56 seconds flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and Good Going Annie, and she's all done here. Her strides are shortening up quite considerably as they race down the backside. 3/8 of a mile remaining. And on top of the field, Falcone return now swings to the front end here. Up on the outside, racing in 2 as they approach the 3/4 mile mark of the race. That is Joe Ju Jan. On the inside, racing in 3rd, that is Dominique D as they went by 3/4 in 1:26 and 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. And Falcone return with the lead here by a length. Grinding it out first over the outside in 2. That is Joe Ju Jan awaiting the passing lane. In 3rd is Dominique D, and swung up 3 wide for the stretch drive. Ms. Oak to the top of Power Alley. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Falcone return with the lead, but to the inside, Dominique D is coming to her and coming on. Falcone return. Dominique D gets up to win it. Falcone return to go 2nd. It was close for 3rd. May have been the 8. Stand at the Top over the 4. Joe Ju Jan, the top of the mile, 1:57 4/5. Dominique D. Official winner of the 2nd race, number 6, Dominique D. A 5-year-old bay mare by Arizona Jack, and of a Cheryl, she by Handsome Sam. It's owned by Sarah Jane Hatcher of Marysville, Ohio, trained by Larry Landon, very capably driven by Jason Brewer. Posting the first win in 2003, 1:57 4, Dominique D. The 1 is Winning Connection, owned by Blankenship and Hickey. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Tom Blankenship with Chip Noble. Number 2 is Kentucky Sugar, owned by Schwartz, Walski, and Armheim of the 2nd of Michigan, trained by Daniel Walski with Jeff FOUT. Number 3 is CORTSVILLE Cutie, owned by Robert and Gail Impson of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Gail Impson with the driver's change to Dallas Miller. Number 4 is I'm a Rain Dancer, owned by Olive Brennigan of Jamestown, Ohio, trained by Mark Wagner with Dan Noble. Number 5 is Cam's Magic Dancer, owned by Carol Johnson of Urbana, Ohio, trained by Robert Stapleton with Kyle Later. Number 6 is Express Lane 2. My Bud Light Long Shot of the Night is owned by Donald Lane of Galena, Ohio, trained by Jim Pollock Jr. with a K-man, Kayne Kauffman. Number 7 is Billy Miller, owned by William Miller II of Trenton, Ohio, trained by Bill Miller II. Jack Dailey is up. The 8 is Usually Jovial, owned by the Big Hat Stable of Bradford, Ohio, trained by Steve Livingston with Jeff Ace Nisonger. Number 9 is Woolridge Ken Wynn, owned and trained by Ray Belt of South Charleston, Ohio, with Bob Harper. And scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Sirius, owned by Dwight Clark of Urbana, Ohio, trained by Doug Palmer, Jim Shelton, Ian Hersalke. 10 swings to the back stretch, getting set for a start. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and leaving out of there from the outside. There goes Express Lane 2, gets the first call. In between horses, I'm a Rain Dancer. From the inside, there is Kentucky Sugar. Up on the outside, racing in 4, that is Woolridge Can Win. Looking to duck in there. And 5 is Winning Connection. 6th from off the second tier is Sirius. 7th on the inside is CORTSVILLE Cutie. 8th is Cam's Magic Dancer. And the 2 trailers here are Billy Miller and Usually Jovial, and Ace Nisonger can see them all. As they move by the opening quarter came and went in 28 and 1/5, and the K-Man has Express Lane 2 on the front interior, only to get by a length and a half. Along the inside of the garden spot, racing into, that is Kentucky Sugar. The Hazel Shipper races along in second. Along the inside, I'm a Rain Dancer races in third. First to flush on the outside in fourth is Woolridge Can Win, who is towing along Sirius on the outside there in 5. 6th on the inside is Winning Connection. As they step around the clubhouse, turn it on over to the half, and Express Lane 2 is calling the shots here through a half and 57 and 4/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside, a second panel in 29 and 3/5. They'll start their long journey towards 3/4, and Express Lane 2 leads it here uncontested by a length and a half. Kentucky Sugar is still right there at their back, racing in second. First over on the outside, racing in third, that is Woolridge Can Win. Not going on in fourth, that is I'm a Rain Dancer. Second over the outside in 5 is Sirius. 6th is Winning Connection. 7th to the outside, Billy Miller, as they wheel by 3/4 in 126 and 2/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Express Lane 2 is trying to make every pull. A winning one, leading it here by a length and a quarter, is now bracing herself for the oncoming power of Kentucky Sugar, and FOUT swings her to the outside. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come, driving through Power Alley, and Kentucky Sugar sweeps right on by. Kentucky Sugar inside the final 16th is going on and going strong. Kentucky Sugar in front. Finishing second was the 1, Winning Connection. Third was the 6, Express Lane 2. The time of the mile, 1:56 flat. Kentucky Sugar in a new lifetime the Hazel mark. Park Invader here scores this evening in 1:56 flat here at Scioto Downs in a new lifetime mark, establishing her 6th win in 2003. Number 2, Kentucky Sugar. An 8-year-old bay mare by Kentucky Spur out of a Sugar Diane. She by Tyler B. Zoned by Swartz, Walski, and Emheim. The 2nd of Michigan, trained by Daniel Walski, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Jeff FOUT. That's 2 wins on this evening's card for driver Jeff FOUT, giving him a driving double. In the 4th race, Preferred Trotters are coming to the track, being led to the post parade by outrider Kathy Hawk. This star-studded field of 8 has over $1.3 million in earnings. Exactas and tries, early pick 3 wagering, a driver's change on the 2, Stars Mission. The driver is Jeff FOUT. Number 1 is Power Hall, owned by Joseph Palermo III of Ocean Ridge, Florida, trained by Jay Sears with Kyle Waiter. Number 2 is Stars Mission, owned and trained by Doug Hunt of Troy, Ohio, with Jeff FOUT. Number 3 is CYRANO the Bergerac, owned by Linda Rankin of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Dave Rankin with Dan Noble. Number 4 is Anastasia Barron, owned by Joseph Leonard Urban of Mercer, Pennsylvania, trained and driven by Jeff Conger. Number 5 is Miracle Sabra, owned by Artledge, Lehman, and Winsky. They're of Ohio and Massachusetts, trained by Jim Artledge Jr., Dallas Millers at the lines. Number 6 is C.R. Mungo Jerry, owned by Bendis, Walton Campbell, and Varney. They're of Pennsylvania and Maine, trained by Randy Bendis with Bob Harper. Number 7 is Tip Tough Tag, owned by Charlie Norris, the W.R. Little Stables, Can-Am Stables, and Lance. They're of Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Jersey, and West Virginia, trained by Charlie Norris, Billy Herman. And for the outside of the 8 is He's Striking, owned by Bart's Glass and Robert Kauffman of Kentucky and Ohio, trained by Danny Collins, Sam Chipnoble III, in the sulky. The 4th race, Preferred Trotters are all moving in behind the gate. A great field of 8 from the rail out. Power Hall, Stars Mission, CYRANO de Bergerac, Anastasia Barron, Miracle Sabra, CR Mungo, Jerry Tiff Tough Tag, He's Striking. Field in motion. They're all fan trotting in, firing away, middle of the pack. There goes the 3, CYRANO de Bergerac. Right alongside, that's the 2, Stars Mission. Driving up from the outside, that is CR Mungo Jerry, who's hung 3 deep into the first turn. A gap of 3 lengths, trotting in 4th there, that is Power Hall. Got to the outside in 5 is Miracle Sabra is driving on. 6th is Tiff Tough Tag. 7th, that is Anastasia Barron, and 8th, then trailing the field is He's Striking. He'll have to do it from the back of the pack tonight as they roll over to the opening quarter-mile mark of the race. The opening quarter in 28 seconds flat, and CR Mungo Jerry has been forwardly placed here by Bob Harper, leading it by a length and a half. To the inside, Stars Mission is in the garden spot, racing in 2. CYRANO de Bergerac trots in 3rd, a gap of 1, trotting in 4th. That is Miracle Sabra. 5th is Power Hall. 6th is Tiff Tough Tag, who is gearing it up now. Up on the inside, outside now, racing in 7th. That is Anastasia Barron, and 8th, and trailing the field. That is He's Striking, but he swung to the outside as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. They're halfway home in 59 seconds flat. A nice breather there of 31 seconds flat for CR Mungo Jerry, who leads them down the backside. Stars Mission right there in the garden spot, racing into, and now rushing up first over on the outside, racing in 3rd. That is Miracle Sabra, buried at the rail in 4th. That is CYRANO de Bergerac. 2nd over on the outside in 5 is Tiff Tough Tag. 6th on the inside, Power Hall. Swung up 3 wide from the back is He's Striking in 7th, and 8th, and trailing the field, Anastasia Barron, as they go by 3 quarters in 128 and 3/5. They'll trot the final turn and head for home, and CR Mungo Jerry under a tippy tap of the whip from Harper. Miracle Sabra is up on the outside, trotting in 2, and from way back, here comes He's Striking off the turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. CR Mungo Jerry, but to the outside, Miracle Sabra's put in a big mile. Tiff Tough Tag is charging on the outside. Tiff Tough Tag and Miracle Sabra, these 2 to the wire. Tiff Tough Tag gets up to win it. Finishing 2nd was the 5, Miracle Sabra was close for 3rd. The time of the mile, 1:58 flat. Tiff Tough Tag and a photo for a win. Official winner of the 4th race, Preferred Trotters, getting up in deep stretch here in 1:58 flat, establishing the 4th win in 2003. Here's the 7, Tiff Tough Tag, a 5-year-old bay gelding by Tagliabue out of a Tiffany line, she by Diamond Exchange. It's owned by Charlie Norris of Pennsylvania, WRL Stables of Indiana, the Can-Am Stables of New Jersey, and Lance of West Virginia. Trained by Charlie Norris, Billy Herman, the winning driver. Tiff Tough Tag, 1:58 flat. Returning $823.63. Second was the 5, Miracle Sabra, and Dallas Miller, who was first up and won a huge mile, 4:43.40. The mare's conditioned pace of 1 mile, a purse of $2,200, exact as in tries, down to a field of 7 with a scratch of the 8, Shocking Sarah Sec. The 1 is High Flying Samantha, is owned and trained by David Loff of Mechanicsburg, Ohio, with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 2 is Samantha Rebo, owned by Melby Ober Sr. of Cable, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Franklin. Number 3 is Scarcity, owned by David and Richard Finfrock of New Carlisle, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Dailey. Number 4 is Lake Hills Lisa, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio, with Danny Noble. Number 5 is Tiger's Time to Ring, owned by Mary Clinky of Lakeview, Ohio, trained by Myron Earl with Jim Shelton. Number 6 is Noble Glory, owned by Wayne and Loretta Bowman of Greenville, Ohio, trained by Wayne Bowman with Jeff Ace Nisonger. Number 7 is TSM Starburst, owned by John Howard of Morgantown, West Virginia, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Kyle Leader, Ian Hersalke. Down to a field of 7 with a scratch of the 8, Shocking Sarah sick. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the middle of the racetrack. There goes the 5 Tigers. Time to Ring is crossing right over here, looking to drop in. Racing in second, that is Scarcity. Along the inside there, though, that is High Flying Samantha, who is going to force the issue up front here. Coming away in fourth is Samantha Rebo. Way in 5 is Lake Hills Lisa. 6th, that is Noble Glory. In 7th, and trailing the field, TSM Starburst. As they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, and Scarcity is now put on the front end here. Tigers. Time to Ring is yielding for a garden spot in 2 by the opening quarter in 29 seconds flat, and out pops High Flying Samantha, and right back on the outside here's Tigers. Time to Ring as they pace by us for the first time and roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining in Tigers. Time to Ring, but up on the outside High Flying Samantha to the front end as they step around the clubhouse turn and bank on over to the half. On top, High Flying Samantha with the lead here by length and a half. Tigers. Time to Ring is in the garden spot, racing in 2. Scarcity's been shuffled back in third as they reach the half, and 59 and 2/5 along the inside. Racing in fourth, Lake Hills Lisa, backing through the field there to the outside in 5. That is Samantha Rebo. Along the inside, racing in 6. There is TSM Starburst in 7th, and trailing the field, that is Noble Glory as they march down the backside, and High Flying Samantha and Chip Noble as the lead here by length and a half. Tigers. Time to Ring is still right there in the garden spot, racing in 2. First over on the outside on the rim here in third. That is the 4, Lake Hills Lisa, as they went by 3/4 in 1:29 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and High Flying Samantha with the lead here. A couple tippy taps of the whip up on the outside, and Lake Hills Lisa is now charging to her and ready to swing. 3 wide is Noble Glory off the turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Lake Hills Lisa now clinging to the lead. Noble Glory is charging on the outside, and Noble Glory has made an unfortunate break here. Lake Hills Lisa in front. Very tight for second at the top of the mile. 1:59, 1/5. Lake Hills Lisa. The winner's circle, the unofficial winner of the 5th race, Fillies and Mares, conditioned pace, timed in 1:59, 1/5. Here's the 4, Lake Hills Lisa, a 9-year-old bay mare by Sportsmaster out of a Splenferous, she by General Star. Is owned and trained by John Nelson Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dan Noble. The photo reveals 4157 unofficial, 4157 unofficial. Please note the inquiry sign has been withdrawn. Lake Hills Lisa reports her first win in 2003. Dan Noble drove the 4, Lake Hills Lisa. 4-1 exacta, 1:14.80, 4:15 try, returns 5:02.20. The 1 mile, a purse of $6,000, exactas and tries, a field of 7, no changes. The 1 is Kayla Marie, owned by Harry and Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker with Chip Noble. Number 2 is Southern Miz, owned by the Darby's Edge stable of London, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Danny Noble. Number 3 is Fritzy Pickpocket, owned by Fritz and McHenry. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Richard Fritz with Jack Dailey. Number 4 is Tweedledee, owned by Stanley Swango III of Waynesville, Ohio, trained by Jim Artledge, Bob Harper. The 5 is Bless Our Best, owned by Ben Sexton of Franklin, Ohio, trained by Phil James, Kyle Waiter. Number 6 is Stardate Hall, owned by Lynn Foley of Salvisa, Kentucky, and Gabe Pruitt of Mount Sterling, Kentucky, trained by Peter Foley with Jeff Nisonger. From the outside of the 7 is Tarina's Best, owned by Dean Miller and William Rupnott of Archbold, Ohio, trained by Mike Roth, Jeff FOUT, Ian Hersalke. That's the field. Wings to the back stretch. They're getting set for a start. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. There goes Kayla Marie right alongside. That is Fritzy Pickpocket. Driving through to be third. That is Southern Miss. Dropping in fourth is Tweedledee. Away in five is Bless Our Best. Right at her back racing in sixth. That is Stardate Hall. And seventh in trailing the field. That is Tarina's Best and FOUT can see them all. As they pace around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. And Fritzy Pickpocket and Jack Dailey on the front interior by length and a half. Kayla Marie is right there in the garden spot racing in two through an initial quarter of 28 seconds flat as they march on by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half. And Fritzy Pickpocket leading it here comfortably by a length and a half. Along the inside, Kayla Marie is racing in two. Southern Miss is right there racing in third. Locked in at the rail in fourth, that is Tweedledee. First over the outside in five, that is Bless Our Best, who is towing along Tarina's Best and shuffled back seventh here. That is Stardate Hall as they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. On top of the field, Fritzy Pickpocket reports to the half. They're halfway home in 58 and 2/5. A second panel at 30 and 2. Off the turn and setting sail down the backside. And on top of the field, that is Fritzy Pickpocket leading it here comfortably by a length and a half. Along the inside, Kayla Marie is still right there in two and first to flush and coming with a rush. Here comes Southern Miss, sent first over the outside by Dan Noble there as they approach the 3/4 mile mark of the race. Second over on the outside, racing in fourth, that is Bless Our Best. Fifth on the inside, Tweedledee as they march by 3/4 in 1:26 and 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. And Southern Miss now out to the latest here by length and a half and off the rail. Here comes Kayla Marie. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come to the front end. Southern Miss with the lead to the outside. Kayla Marie, Tweedledee is trying to come to him along with Bless Our Best inside the final 16th. Southern Miss in front. Finishing second was the 4, Tweedledee. Third was the 1, Kayla Marie. The top of the mile, 1:54, 3/5, Southern Miss. Circle, the unofficial winner of the 6th race. Number 2, Southern Miss, a 5-year-old bay mare by Chalmers Big Guy out of a Southern Music. She by Standing Ho. Is owned by the Darby's Edge stable of London, Ohio. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dan Noble. Home winner in 1:54, 3/5 for the 6th win in 2003. Number 2, Southern Miss gives Dan Noble a driving double. 2-4-1 is unofficial. Pick 3, 2 of 3, 7. Number 1 is Max Gwynn, owned by Turbulent Air Incorporated of Beaver, Ohio, trained by Owen Harness with Jump-Ace NISONGER. Number 2 is Courtney Beth, owned by Richard Garrison of Frankfort, Ohio, trained by Brett Ader with Jump Founded Lines. Number 3 is VC Queen, Scott Piney's Budweiser Best Bet of the Night, is owned by Brummel, Ader, Richards, Montgomery. They're of New Jersey and Ohio, trained by Dan Ader. Kyle Ader is up. The 4 is Digital Lady. The lessee is also the trainer, Thomas Blankenship of Asheville, Ohio. Chip Noble is the driver. Number 5 is Recurring Dream, owned by Medine, Smigleski, Belleville, and Ewing. They're of Ohio and Illinois, trained by James Ferguson, Bob Harper. The 6 Yankee Splash is out sick. The 7 is Talented Samantha, owned and trained by Kenneth Reynolds of LaRue, Ohio. Jim Shelton is up. And for the outside, Umbro Alto, owned by Harold Lee and Harold Botter of Delaware, Ohio, trained by Michael Conklin, Danny Noble, Ian Hersulke. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing in a very nice start here, flashing some speed from the inside. Courtney Beth driving up from the outside. There's Talented Samantha. Along the inside, Max Gwynn has come away in third, looking to drop in, racing in fourth there. That is VC Queen. Away in 5 is Digital Lady. 6th on the inside is Recurring Dream, and 7th in trailing the field. That is Umbro Alto. As they race around the first turn in single file formation, and just as I say that, Courtney Beth pulls the 2-hole here, and FOUT is looking for the front end tier. Talented Samantha Samantha yielding for a garden spot in 2 by the opening quarter in 29 2/5. As they pass the stands for the first time and head on down to the half, and Courtney Beth is your new leader up top. But now VC Queen is up to pressure here and looks to take the lead here as they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining, and VC Queen to the front end here at even money leads it by a length and a quarter as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. VC Queen and Kyle Waiter leads it here by a length and a quarter. Courtney Beth is nose to helmet racing in 2 as they race by the half. They're halfway home in 1 minute flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and VC Queen is on the front end here, starting her long journey down the backside and leading it by a length and 3/4. Along the inside, racing in second, that is Courtney Beth. Along the inside in third is Talented Samantha. First over the rim, racing in fourth, that is Max Gwynn, who is towing along Digital Lady there. In the pocket there is Recurring Dream, and trailing the field seventh, but swung up 3 wide. Here comes Ombro Alto as they race by 3/4 on the board in 1:29 flat. Backside 29 seconds onto the front end, and VC Queen under a tippy tap of the whip leads it here by a widening 3.5 lengths. Courtney Beth is trying to come back to her in second. Max Gwynn is laboring a bit on the outside in third, and Ombro Alto is swung up 3 wide as they drive through Power Alley. On top, VC Queen and VC Queen, and this is an absolute rocking chair drive for Kyle Waiter. VC Queen, Scott Piney's Budweiser best bet of the night scores here. Finishing second was the 8 Ombro Alto. Third was the 1 Max Gwynn. The time of the mile 1:57 2/5. VC Queen in a new lifetime mark. Tonight, the 3 VC Queen, a 3-year-old bay filly by Village Connection out of a Stage Queen mare. She by Sun Sam. Owned by Brummel, Aders, Richards, and Montgomery. They're of New Jersey and Ohio. Trained by Dan Ader. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Kyle Waiter. Home in a new lifetime mark, 1:57 2. VC Queen and Kyle Waiter. The 1 is Towner's Sabrina, owned by Rick and Tammy Brandon of Greenville, Ohio, trained by Craig Bowman with Sam Chipnoble III. Next to the track is the 2, Cam's Halo, owned by Paul Wade and Stephen Watkins, both of the Buckeye State, trained by Dan McCulloch with Jim Shelton. Number 3 is I'm a Sam 2, owned by Joe Criswell, Marion, Ohio, trained by Delvin Criswell with Jeff Fowler at the lines. Number 4 is Cincy Chai Lizzie, owned by Thomas Price of Cincinnati, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Dailey. Number 5 is Nobleland Sarah, owned by Matt Rowe of Urbana, Ohio, trained by Robert Stapleton with Danny Noble. Number 6 is TT Special Star, owned by Terry Garrett of Dayton, Ohio, trained by Scott Ferguson with Jeff Ace Nisonger. Number 7 is Village Ways, owned by Ackley, and Potter. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by John Ackley with Bob Harper. Number 8 is Tricky Trippy, owned by Bernice Molnar of Northfield, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with Kyle Waiter. Number 9 is Summer Sun, owned by William Cantrell of Oil Springs, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer. Jason Brewer is up. And scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Nanny's Magic Star, owned by Melby Ober Sr. of Cable, Ohio, trained by Ann Hildebrand, Tony Hall, in her sulky. Gate, a field of 10, swings to the backstretch. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing out of there for the lead. There goes the 3, I'm a Sam 2, driving up in between horses. That is Cam's Halo. From the outside, that is Tricky Trippy, who's on the go, along with the 7 Village Ways, coming away racing in 5. That is Towner's Sabrina. Away in 6th is Nanny's Magic Star. 7th, that is Cincy Chai Lizzie. 8th, that is Nobleland Sarah. 9th on the inside is TT Special Star. And 10th, and trailing the field, Summer Sun. As they wind around the first turn and over the opening quarter, the initial quarter in 28 1/5. They'll pass by the stands for the first time and march on down to the half with I'm a Sam 2 and FOUT leading it here by length and a half. Along the inside, Cam's Halo is stalking in the garden spot. Along the inside in third is Village Ways. Caught to the outside in fourth is Tricky Trippy. Along the inside, buried at the rail in five is Towner Sabrina. Second over on the outside in sixth is Nanny's Magic Star. Seventh is Cincy Chai Lizzie. Eighth is Noble Land Sarah. Ninth on the inside there is TT Special Star in 10th, and trailing the field Summer Sun as they race around the half. They're halfway home in 58 4/5 off that initial quarter of 28 1. Off the turn and setting sail down the backside. Their long journey towards three quarters has begun, and on top of the field I'm a Sam 2 leads it here by a length and a half. Right there, nose to helmet racing into, that is Cam's Halo. Now swung up three wide on the outside. Here comes Nanny's Magic Star, who's advancing out the leader here from third. Along the inside of the box in fourth is Village Ways as they move by three quarters and trip the 3/4 mile beam in 1:27 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and I'm a Sam 2 leads the way here, grinding it out of the outside in second. That is Nanny's Magic Star, swung up three wide on the outside, Cincy Chai Lizzie, and awaiting the passing lane Cam's Halo. Off the turn and driving through the stretch, I'm a Sam 2 with the lead here. Along the inside, Cam's Halo, and charging over the outside, Cincy Chai Lizzie in the passing lane. Here's the 7 Village Ways, and Village Ways is bursting onto the scene to get up to win it. Very close for second there, Village Ways in 1:56 1/5. Photo for one of the winner's circle, the unofficial winner of the 8th race, Fillies and Mares, condition pace, in 1:56 1/5. Here's the 7 Village Ways, a 4-year-old daughter of Village Connection out of a waiting She by Storm Damage. Is owned by Ackley, and Potter. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by John Ackley, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Bob Harper. Village Ways returning to winning ways, 1:56 1/5. 7-3-4-2 is now official. 7-3 Exacta returns 38.60, 7-3-4 Try 1:54.60. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the horses are stepping onto the track for this evening's 9th race. Fillies and Mares, condition pace of 1 mile, a purse of $4,500. Exacta's Tries, late pick 3 wagering begins here. Scratch the 3, Noble Know-It-All, sick, leaving us a field of 7. The 1 is Lacey's Legacy, owned by Clarence, You Can Call Me Sonny DeLong, and Hawk. They're both of Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with Bob Harper. Number 2 is Evil Jenna, owned by Mike Havens of Asheville, Ohio, and Ron Bates of Amanda, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Danny Noble. The 3, Noble Know-It-All, is out sick. The 4 is Terry's Dirty Deeds, owned by Gary Skierce of Franklin, Ohio, trained by Ken Turner with Dallas Miller. Number 5 is Lady with a Future, owned by Iris Horowitz of Brooklyn, New York, trained by Tim Rucker with Sam Chip Noble III. Number 6 is I Need New Nikes, owned by James Hassel and Gary Moyer. They're both of the Buckeye State, trained by Calvin Holler, Kyle Waiters at the lines. Number 7 is Come On Wild Angel, owned by Jerry Sommers of Pickerington, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters with Jason Brewer. And number 8 is Sharpenette, owned by Betty Jean Jordan of Clarksville, Ohio, trained by Laura Jordan with Jeff FOUT in her sulky. Will Know It All. The gate swings into the back stretch. They're in the hands of the starter. This field is in motion. Being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing out of there for the lead. There goes Evil Jenna from the outside. There is I Need New Nikes, who's looking to drop in, racing in 2. Along the inside, Lacey's Legacy's being wrangled back in 3rd. Along the inside in 4th is Terry's Dirty Deeds. 5th there, that is Lady with a Future. Coming away in 6th is Come On Wild Angel. In 7th and trailing the field, Sharpenette and FOUT Can See 'Em All. A field of 7 race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, being led by Evil Jenna. And Evil Jenna will trip the opening quarter-mile beam in 28 1/5. They'll pass by the stands for the first time and march on down to the half, and Evil Jenna is out there leading it by a length and a quarter. I Need New Nikes is nose to helmet racing in 2nd. Lacey's Legacy is right there racing in 3rd as they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Racing in 4th, Terry's Dirty Deeds. 5th on the rail there is Lady with a Future. First to flush on the outside in 6th as they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the halfway mile mark of the race is Sharpenette in 7th and trailing the field, but a swing to the outside. Come on on, Wild Angel, as they approach the half. They're halfway home in 59 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and on top of the field, Evil Jenna leads it here by a widening 2 1/4 lengths to the inside. Going with her in second is I Need New Nikes. Left first over on the outside in third. That is Sharp Annette. On the inside, racing in fourth. That is Lacey's Legacy. To the outside, racing in 5. That is Terry's Dirty Deeds. Buried at the rail in 6. Lady with a Future in 7th, and trailing the field. Come on, Wild Angel, as they approach 3/4 and 128 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. Evil Jenna with the lead here by 2 1/2. To the inside, I Need New Nikes is trying to come back to her in second. Lacey's Legacy is off the cones and out for the drive. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Evil Jenna and Danny Noble is all over this one. Lacey's Legacy is charging hard on the outside. Evil Jenna to the inside. Lacey's Legacy on the outside. Who's going to hit the wire first? Too tight to call. Photo for a win. Finishing third was the 6. I Need New Nikes. The time of the mile, 1:56 2/5. Input them. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 9th race, Fillies and Mares, condition pace, timed in 1:56 2. The 2, Evil Jenna, a 4-year-old bay mare by Jenna's Beach Boy out of a Satin's Mistress, she by Albatross. Owned by Mike Havens of Asheville, Ohio, and Ron Bates of Amanda, Ohio. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Dan Noble gets his 3rd winning drive of the night. A driving triple as Evil Jenna posts her 4th winning win of 2003. It's getting late. $3.40. And again, the show on that 6 horse, I Need New Nikes. If I didn't say it clearly enough, 3 Fillies and Mares, condition pace of 1 mile, a purse of $4,200. Exactas and tries. First half of the late Dailey double, along with win, place, and show. A field of 8. A driver's change on the 3. Crimson Cam. The driver Tony Hall. The 1 is Holiday Beach, owned by Val Bame of Columbus, Ohio. Trained and driven by Jack Franklin. Number 2 is Student Driver. My Budweiser best bet of the night is owned by Robinson and Mondello. They're all the Buckeye State. Trained by Delvin Criswell, Jeff FOUT aboard. Number 3 is Crimson Cam, owned by Aretha Haynes of Xenia, Ohio. Trained by Paul Haynes with the driver's change to Tony Hall. Number 4 is Miles of Heart, owned by Hudson Horse Company, Limited of Overland Park, Kansas. Trained by Keith Dix with Kyle Waiter. Number 5 is Special Connection, owned and trained by Dana Taylor of Washington Courthouse, Ohio with Danny Noble. Number 6 is Midway Dottie, owned and trained by John Bussey of Thornville, Ohio. Bob Harper is out. The 7 is After the Dream, owned by Condit and Condit of Westerville, Ohio, and Stack of Marengo, Ohio. Trained by Ron Stack with Sam Chipnoble III. And for the outside of the 8 is Come On, Frankie, owned by Jerry Sommers of Pickerington, Ohio, and Rhodes Jr. of Circleville, Ohio. Trained by David Abbott, Jason Brewer, and the Sulky. To kick off the late Daily Double. They're in the hands of the starter. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the outside. There goes Midway Dottie in between horses there. That is Special Connection driving through to be 3rd. That is Student Driver away racing in 4th. That is Holiday Beach. Along the inside in 5 is Crimson Camp. Racing in 6th there is Come On Frankie. 7th on the inside is After the Dream, and 8th and trailing the field way back there after the break is Miles of Heart. As they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. And on top of the field, Midway Dottie leads the way here. Special Connection is racing in second, now ranging up on the outside. Here comes Student Driver, and Jeff FOUT is looking for the front end with her. Student Driver has found it here, leading it by a length and a half. Along the inside, Midway Dottie paces in second, rolling into the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Along the inside, Special Connection is going along in 3rd. Holiday Beach races in 4th. First over on the outside in 5, that is Come On Frankie. Pendant at the rail in 6th is Crimson Cam. A swing to the outside in 7th is After the Dream, and 8th and trailing the field, Miles of Heart. They're halfway home in 58 seconds flat after that opening quarter of 28 seconds. Off the turn and driving down the backside. On top of the field, Student Driver and FOUT leads it here 3 to 5. Punter's Choice leads it by a length and a half. Along the inside, Midway Dottie is right there in the garden spot, racing in 2, grinding it out first over on the outside in 3rd. That is Come On Frankie. Pendant at the rail, racing in 4th is Special Connection. position. Second over on the outside in 5 After the Dream. 6th on the inside Holiday Beach. And 7th and trailing the field Crimson Cam as they go by 3/4 and 1, 26 and 2/5. They'll pace the final turn and head to the top of Heartbreak Lane. On top of the field, Student Driver and FOUT leads the way here. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Student Driver with the lead here. Midway, Dottie will take a shot at her from the pocket, but as they roll within the final 16th, Jeff FOUT's got the Budweiser best bet of the night. Student Driver in front. Finishing second was the 7 After the Dream. Third was the 5 Special Connection. The time of the mile, 1:55 2/5. Student Driver. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 10th race, Fillies and Mares, condition pace. First half of the late Dailey double, timed in 1:55 and 2. Here's the Budweiser best bet of the night, the 2 Student Driver. A 3-year-old bay filly by world champion Jake Lobel out of a Life's Highway. She by Life Sign. Zoned by Robinson and Mondello. They're all the Buckeye State. Trained by Delvin Criswell. Jeff FOUT gets his 3rd winning drive of the night. A driving triple for Jeff FOUT. Student Driver picks up her 2nd win in 2003, 1:55 2/5. Hawk brings him out. The 1 is Free Dream, owned by Sharma Kuchbach of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained by Jerry Kuchbach with a K-man, Kayne Kauffman. Number 2 is Corner Stand, owned by Donna Chapman of Johnstown, Ohio, trained by Roy Thacker Jr. with Kyle Waiter at the lines. Number 3 is Beep Beep Zip Tang, owned by Nina Sams of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained by Ron Miller, Jim Shelton. The 4 is Marquee Event, owned by Carol Gamble of Bradford, Ohio, trained by Steve Livingston, Bob Harper. The 5 is Sarah's Blaze, owned by Charles McDonough of Springfield, Ohio, trained by Chris Justice. Jason Brewer is up. The 6 is Katera Hanover, owned by John Howard of Morgantown, West Virginia, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Danny Noble. The 7 is Patty Again, owned by William Meter of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Robert Davis with David Setzer. Driver's change, Dave Setzer. The 8, Jake's Bad News, owned and trained by Tommy Lee Smith of Lebanon, Ohio. Tony Hall is up. The 9 is Jenna's Great Lady, owned by Terry Lee Tackett of Marion, Ohio, trained by Arnold Johnston, Dallas Miller. And scoring from off the 2nd tier is number 10, Sensi Kathy G, owned by Thomas Price of Cincinnati, Ohio, trained and driven by Jack Dailey. Backstretch. For the finale, field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. There goes Corner Stand, who's headed straight for command. Right alongside is Beep Beep Zip Tang. Driving up from the outside, there is Jake's Bad News as they wheel into the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Coming away in 4th, that is Patty Again. 5 on the inside, that is Marquee Event. 6th is Free Dream. 7th there from off the 2nd tier is Cincy Kathy G. 8th is Sarah's Blaze. 9th on the inside, Katera Hanover. And 10th and trailing the field, being angled back there, that is Jenna's Great Lady and Dallas can see them all as they move by the opening quarter in 28 and 1/5, and Jake's Bad News to the front, but right back on the outside. Here's Corner Stand up to take the lead here, and Corner Stand back to the front end here with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Along the inside, Jake's Bad News is racing in second and rushing up on the outside. Here comes Free Dream as they wheel around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. Corner Stand leads the way here, but Free Dream is trying to clear and does so now for the K-Man. As they approach the half, they're halfway home in 58 and 4/5. A second panel there at 30 and 3. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and Free Dream leads the way here by a length and a half. Along the inside, going along in second, that is Corner Stand. Inside racing in 3, that is Jake's Bad News. 4th on the inside there, and buried now is Beep Beep Zip Tang, and swung up 3 wide on the outside. Here comes Katera Hanover as they march down the backside. On top, Free Dream with the lead here. Corner Stand is right there racing in 2. 3/4 and 1, 27 and 3/5. First over on the outside, racing in 3rd. Katera Hanover's trying to come to Free Dream as they race around the final turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come, driving through Power Alley. Free Dream with the lead here, and she's absolutely rocking away from this field. Free Dream's gonna take the nightcap here. Free Dream by 6.5 on the wire. Finishing second was the 6, Katera Hanover. 3rd was the 3, Beep Beep Zip Tang. Rounding out the Super ones, the 8, Jake's Bad News. The time of the mile, 1:56 flat. Free Dream. Late double, 2-1, 1940. Late pick 3, 3 of 3, 32.60. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 11th race. From off the rail, here's the one, Free Dream. A 7-year-old bay mare by Tanner's Big Guy out of an Albus Dream. She by Albus is owned by Sharma Kuchbach of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained by Jerry Kuchbach. Nicely handled here this evening by the winning driver, the K-Man, Kayne Kauffman. Timed in 1:56 flat. The one, Free Dream, posts her first win in 2003.